Hey everyone, and welcome to the channel. My name is Ash, and I am here with a very special video. This is the XPN Network's 800th review video, which is a insane number of videos. When I changed this channel to XPN Network, previously XBL Party Podcast, there was only a handful of reviews that I'd done a fair few years ago when I had my game store, and I honestly never thought we would get to this point now where there's 800 video reviews, and that's not including all of the written reviews on the website www.xpnnetwork.com, or all of the coverage we've done and spotlighting of games on all of our different live podcasts and live streams and stuff like that. This is just review video. So I just want to say a big thank you to everyone who's tuned in and watches them, all the people who like, comment, interact with the video, share them out and stuff like that. And also a huge thank you to all of the devs, the publishers, the press companies and stuff we use, because we wouldn't have hit that number by now if it wasn't for being sent some of the codes. We still buy quite a lot of our games. I buy way too many games. Should see my list that I've bought this last month. But obviously being sent codes for free also frees us up to be able to purchase more games as well. So it does mean a lot to us, and I try to cover every single game we've been sent. Now, because of odd things that have happened in the past, like technical issues and times and stuff, there have been a couple we've missed over the 800 plus, nearly probably 900 sort of games we've covered on this channel. However, a couple of them are in this video, so I'm trying to make sure everything's up to date. By the end of this year, we will have 100% completion rate for if we've ever been sent a code, we've done a review. And like I say, I think we've had 4 out of 840, 850 plus games that we've never covered. So a couple of them are in here, and there'll be a couple more in the next sort of month or so. And then every single game we've ever been provided, whether it's not with the stipulation for having a review video or anything like that, but we try to cover them anyway, give them a bit of promotion, especially indie games. Indie devs work really hard and they need the spotlight, so we love indie games here as well. But anyway, guys, let's get into the reviews. I've talked too much. I do apologise, but thank you, like I say, so much. Hit that like button, hit subscribe if you haven't already, and keep an eye out on the channel for even more great videos. Now, let's look at the games. Okay, first game up on our list is the Legend of Gwen. This released for Steam and Nintendo Switch, and it's published by Flynn's Arcade, who are kind enough to send me a copy for this review, so big thank you to them for that, and developed by Wee Games. Now, this looks like it's a cutesy 3D-esque platformer, but my god, it is no such thing. So the story is you play as Gwen. She arrives at her magic school. She wants to become the best witch in the world, but the school's attacked by the evil, and it starts to absorb everything it could from the school. And basically, she has to defeat the evil and save the school, basically. Now, this game sees you basically traversing a variety of different levels. And on these levels, you basically have to collect 5 stars and find your way to the exit within the time limit. Now, if you fall or you're defeated, you're killed, you have to start the level from the beginning. You don't get there in a set time limit, you've got to start from the beginning. And it's one of those games that it's like a Dark Souls platformer in terms of how difficult it can be. Now, graphically, the game doesn't look too bad at all. It's cutesy, sort of low poly 3D graphics. The cutscenes are sort of presented in a hand-drawn image style. But the game itself, like I say, is pretty challenging. Now, there's enemies to avoid and defeat in levels. You can jump on them, you can shoot them, and as you progress through the levels, you are able to use other abilities as well as sort of becoming other characters as well. Now, this game will take you quite a while to get through. It has a whole host of different levels. There are bosses as well, which is pretty cool. And overall, it's a pretty decent game. Now, it won't be for everyone. It is pretty difficult, and it can be frustrating having to sort of replay, especially with some of the sort of challenging platforming sections. However, Stick with it. You will feel that like great sort of joy when you finally do get through a level. So there's 6 different worlds to play through, and each of those worlds has, I believe it's 8 different levels as well. So there's a lot of different levels to play through. Oh my god, though, it does beat you up like all the time. However, it's a fun little challenge. Now, this game is priced at £17.99 normally, but it's currently 50% off until the 7th of September 2023 at £8.99. So if it's something of interest, grab it now and save big on it. Okay, next up on the list is Potata Fairy Flower on the Xbox Series X and S. Now, this game was developed by Potata Company, published by Sometimes You, and was released on the 2nd of August 2023. So big thank you to Sometimes You for sending us a copy. Now, I'd previously covered the original version of this game, the Xbox One version. You can find that video on the channel in our reviews playlist. Now, this game is exactly the same. There's no real improvements bar it being optimized for Series X and S consoles. So you get that super crisp 60 FPS and 4K resolution. Now, this game was already pretty. It has a gorgeous art style, like hand-drawn backgrounds and character art and stuff. But it looks even better now, thanks to obviously the power of the new consoles. Now, you can try this game on Series X and S because there's a free trial, and it's priced at £12.49. And this is a adventure platformer, and basically you play as a young witch that has to go off into the forest to save her home. It also involves, like I say, platforming sections, but also loads of puzzles as well as obviously fighting a variety of enemies. Now, I really enjoyed this game the first time I played it. It's not without its issues. The puzzles, some of them are frustratingly difficult at times, to the point that it stresses me out, and I was like, what is going on here? But it's not a bad game. It's just one of those games that it looks like it could be for kids, but the difficulty from the puzzles alone make it not like a kid-friendly game. So fans of like SNES, Mega Drive action platformers will probably really like this game. It's not super hard. The platforming, like I say, isn't difficult as such. There are bosses and stuff like that, and the characters are well written, and like I say, the art and the music is fantastic. But the puzzles themselves, some of them are frustratingly difficult, so just bear that in mind. Okay, next up on the list is Randy and Teddy Adventure Road. This was released on the 3rd of September 2021, developed by Randy and Teddy, published by Blue Cloud PR, and it's available right now on Steam for the low price of £2.49. Now, this is a indie platformer game, very much taking the sort of inspiration from like classic games such as Mario. Now, you control both of the characters, Randy and Teddy, the boy and his dog, through a whole host of different worlds. Now, there's 5 different worlds to play through, including like a forest level, there's like an Egyptian-y level, a castle-style level, and across these different worlds, there are 5 levels to each of them. So there's 25 full levels to play through. Now, obviously, it features classic sort of platforming gameplay, jumping on enemies to kill them, avoiding sort of environmental hazards and stuff like that. And overall, it's a fun little game. I highly, highly recommend you checking it out. Like I say, it's very cheap, like price-wise. You're going to get a fair bit of content out of it. Only complaint is the music does get a little bit repetitive because it's like the same track over and over and over. But the game itself plays really well. It's fun. It gives you like a proper retro feel. Like it's got 3D like environments and graphics and stuff like that. They are sort of low poly, but the way it plays like a good old sort of classic platformer. So definitely check it out. Great fun little indie game. Okay, next up is Sweet Science, The Girls of Silversea Castle. Now, this is a visual novel that will be coming to Steam later this year. There's a demo available right now on itch.io, and I was lucky enough to be sent a sort of earlier build demo of the game to have a play around with, and it was made by the developer of The Last Secret, which we've also covered previously on this channel. Now, the big selling point of this game is that all of the artwork has been created by AI. Now, take that how you want. Some people think that looks great because the artwork is absolutely fantastic. The backgrounds, the characters, everything look amazing. But there's also the other side where it's technically taking people's jobs. But basically, the story of this game is at a weird science camp in a prestigious boarding school in the 1990s. You basically end up there and you have to try and figure out how to return back to your own time. So you'll meet 4 different girls who you can obviously interact with, learn more about and stuff like that, and obviously create relationships with them and stuff like that as you speak to them. Now, this game's going to feature 8 good endings and a few bad endings as well. There's going to be a variety of puzzles as well to get through. You can skip these puzzles, but like I say, they're not going to be too difficult to the point that they spoil the game. And it's a nice sort of break up between the different sort of visual novel sections. But overall, they're aiming for about 5 hours of gameplay through the sort of single playthrough, with about 20 hours worth of gameplay if you want to get all of the endings. So there's going to be a lot of content here. Like I say, so far so good. Graphics look great. The characters and the writing and everything looks great. I'm expecting good things from this one when it does get fully released later this year. Okay, next up on the list is Moonshine Incorporated. Now, this was developed and published by Clabber, released on the 27th of June 2023 on Xbox. Now, it previously had been out on Steam. Now, this is a game where, if you haven't guessed it from the title, you're making that good old moonshine, and you've got to make it, distill it, and shift it. Now, this is a sort of like business simulation game. Very much reminds me of the weed game we played on the channel a while back. I've done the review, I think, a couple of months ago we did one, and this really, really reminds me of that game. Now, this game's okay. It's unfortunately let down by a ton of bugs on Xbox. So, unfortunately, I haven't got the most out of this game because it's just constantly crashing, or it was at the time of playing it last before recording this video. Now, they have said they're working on a patch to fix it and stuff like that, so I could maybe recommend it later, but I don't look like I'm alone. I looked online, loads of people, even other people's reviews, have all said that it's just like constant crashing, and this is on like series consoles, so kicking you out and stuff like that, to the point it makes it pretty much incompletable and unplayable. Now, when it does work, the game is pretty cool. Like I say, there's a cool story mode in which you basically start off as like a lowly sort of person and work your way up, building up your moonshine company. Now, there's also a sandbox mode. So the story mode has 3 different endings, so successful endings if you get to the end of the story, or a game over scenario if you get caught by, obviously, the authorities doing the deed. Now, the sandbox mode allows you to basically set up a game, choose your amount of money and stuff. Are the police going to get wary of you and stuff? How fast everything produces and crafts and stuff like that. So you can set it up to how you want to play. And it's just a shame that the bugs really let it down. So the game features 5 different regions, so mountain, swamps, forests, like a city and a town and stuff like that. 70 different recipes to be able to craft, so there's vodkas, brandies, whiskies and moonshines you can craft. You unlock them as you progress. There's over 50 different ingredients you can use for your making of your drinks and stuff like that. There's tons of different sort of apparations and stuff you can use, so to do your fermentation and your distillation and stuff like that. And when the game and the story works, there's a big, beefy 37 quests plus police side quests as well, and other events, including like road events and side quests and everything. So there's a ton of great stuff when it plays, but unfortunately I've not been able to fully appreciate the game bar playing it in sporadic bursts because I just get thrown out all the time, which is a massive, massive shame. Now the game does look nice. It has a great, like, it looks good in the sense of the UI and everything look really nice. It works really well. Has an original soundtrack which is pretty chill as well, which I did like. It's just a shame that, like I say, I can't give you a full review because I just can't get that far into the game because of all the crashes. Now, I may do a full review video like separately for this game once it's fully patched and fully playable, because I feel like when it works, it's a really good game. But I personally wouldn't recommend this one until it has been patched. Now, if you do decide to buy this, it's £16.74 on Xbox, playable on Xbox One and Series X and S consoles. There's also a supporters edition for £20.99, which includes a supporter pack, and that includes some extra stuff. It doesn't say exactly what's in it on the Xbox store. It just says here's a supporters package full of extra stuff for legendary run runners, and it just basically gives the developer a little bit sort of more money basically and helps them out. So Clabberton normally do really great games. We've covered tons of their games on this channel. I'm actually playing one of their games right now for another review, and I haven't had any sort of game breaking sort of glitches or bugs. It just feels like maybe it's been ported over half-arsed from PC. So once they fix that, I'm going to give it another go and I'll give you a full update then. But right now, in the state I played it in, it was pretty bad in terms of bugs. Okay, next up is a really fun little game I've been playing called Holy Stick. Now, this is a sort of shooter party game where up to 8 players all play at the same time, trying to defeat each other. So you'll use a whole host of crazy different weapons across all sorts of different maps. And the aim of the game is to absolutely wreck your opponents. Now, you don't have health bars in this game. Basically, it's all about blasting limbs off. So if you get shot in the leg, your leg might fall off, so you have to like sort of hop around or crawl around. If your arms get blown off, you can't hold your weapon, so you may have to sort of like kick people and fight more like melee style to defeat your enemies. And it's funny, it's stupid, it's funny, and it's a quick little game you can play like in short bursts, and I've really enjoyed it. Now, this is a multiplayer focus game, but the game does feature not only online PvP, it also supports split screen PvP and LAN PvP over Steam. And you can use remote play together as well, which is cool. So it means it's easier than ever to play with a group of people. Now, graphically, it has like a really cool sort of like hand-drawn, looks like it's like a kid's comic. Like, you know when you used to do doodles, the stickmen and everything on the paper, it looks like that. But when they get shot, each person's like a different colour and the blood is like the same colour as the person, so you can sort of tell who's been shot and where. Now, there's a load of customization as well, so you can customize your little stickman. So you've got different like outfits and like costumes. You can be like a ninja or like a pirate or something like that, and they all have different voices. And it's stupid. It's really silly. It's really funny. It's one of those games like Nidhogg and stuff like that that I love playing with friends. Now, you can also sort of mix it up how you want to play it. So you can sort of change the customization options on the different maps. There's a craziness system and everything. And there's a ton of different weapons. So it really makes it different every time you play. And that's what I was really into. So I definitely recommend checking this one out. It also supports full controller support, which makes it so much easier to play. But it's available right now for £12.79. Was released on the 25th of August 2023 by developer and publisher Always Too Late. So if you want a crazy fun party game, something you can have a laugh with online or like with your friends sat around you, this one, you're going to get a lot of fun out of it. I had a blast playing it. I just wish I had more people like that were age appropriate to play it with me at home, because I feel like all sat in the same room blasting each other would be an absolute blast. Okay, next up is actually some DLC. This time it's a DLC for Rain World. This is Rain World Downpour, and this was released on the 11th of the 7th, 2023, developed by Video Cult and published onto Xbox by Acapara Games. Now, if you're not familiar with the original Rain World, this is basically like a survival platform game in which the game's sort of set in a post-apocalyptic world, and you basically play as these things called slug cats, which are like elongated cat-like creatures, and you basically have to survive in like this hostile, harsh environment. The rain is always happening, it's always raining, and it's deadly as well. And basically everything in this world is a predator. So you basically have to use your sort of cunning, ability, stuff like that to survive and don't die. Now, this is a like 2D side-scrolling game that does not hold your hand. It is hard. It is one of those games where it throws you in at the deep end, doesn't give you any handholds, and it's just up to you to sort of work your way through it. Now, if you've finished playing through the original game, you can now play the DLC. Now, the DLC includes 5 new slug cats. So these new slug cats have a variety of new abilities. So each one of them has something new that you may need to use their abilities to complete the new areas that are now on offer. Now, there's 10 new regions that have been added, which includes thousands of new maps and environments and stuff to survive in. One thing I did like about this game is it has up to 4-player local co-op, which is pretty cool because you can all play as a different slug cat with different abilities. Now, you have to sort of work together and stuff like that, and basically try to use each other's powers to survive, which I think is really good. It works really well in the terms of sort of co-op survival. Now, there's also a safari mode and a challenge mode that has been added as well. So this challenge mode, it's basically a load of pre-constructed sort of arena scenarios, and the difficulty gets more and more sort of difficult as you progress, so gives you more of a challenge. And there's also an expedition mode, which is a sort of randomizer, and you basically get dropped randomly anywhere in the world, and you have to sort of complete a task that's extremely difficult compared to some of the more bog standard stuff. Now, I found this a lot more difficult than the main game, I'm not going to lie. It's really hard. It takes a lot of patience and learning to get good at it. But having the 4-player co-op, it definitely made it easier in the long run. Like I say, I originally played it sort of solo, but having it with friends is much, much more enjoyable. Like, even when you're struggling, you still enjoy it more because there's people around. Now, the game is a 2D sort of very simplistic looking graphically, but it looks beautiful. Like, it's not super detailed, but it is also detailed at the same time. So like the characters are very simplistic, but the backgrounds, even though it's like 2D, they look detailed in just how it's drawn. It comes across like a painting as such. Now, it did give me, like, the graphics really give me like more detailed Nidhogg vibes. I don't know if you'll agree with me, but like I used to love Nidhogg, and the graphics of the characters and stuff like that really gave me like massive Nidhogg vibes, and I was all for it. Like I say, really, really, really fun, but really, really difficult. Now, this DLC is priced at £12.49. You will obviously need the original game to play, which you can pick up for £20.99 on Xbox. Now, it's playable on Xbox One and Xbox Series X and S, and it's optimized for Series X and S as well. But this one, I don't recommend if you're not into games that are really hard. Like, it's great, like the soundtrack's great, the visuals, while sort of a simplistic style, have a lot of beauty and detail to them, and all the new additions and the new slug cat abilities, the new modes are really great additions to the core game. It's just rock hard, and it's like a Dark Souls style platformer in the sense of how difficult it is. So if you don't like that sort of challenge, maybe give this one a miss because it may not be for you. Okay, and last up is Skeleton Crew on PC. Now, this came out on the 16th of June 2022 from developer Cindercone and publisher Modern Wolf. Now, I previously covered this on a preview before the game came out. I got a chance to play like an early demo build of it and really enjoyed it. And I've been meaning to do a full review ever since release. And it's just one of those things that kept getting pushed back and pushed back. So this game is really, really, really fun. This is a sort of multiplayer sort of platform brawler. You explore tons of dungeons with a variety of different characters. It looks fantastic, it plays fantastic, and it's had all sorts of updates since release. So basically you're fighting against the hordes of chaos and you have to save the crumbling world of Carpathia. Now, you can play this game solo or with friends locally and online. However, the online is, I believe, still in beta. It was added. When I played this originally, it was just local co-op. The game itself is beautiful. Like, it looks fantastic. The character designs, the environments are bright and colourful. The enemies look fantastic. You'll fight through a whole host of different enemies and sort of like giant bosses and stuff like that. There's sort of 12 playable heroes to start with that you can recruit and upgrade and unlock a whole host of sort of potions, weapons, grenade bags and stuff like that, usable scrolls, all that sort of stuff that you can use to improve yourself. Now, the core game features 17 non-linear levels across 3 different regions. The art style is obviously like this beautiful hand-painted look to it, and it just plays and looks great. It's a really, really, really fun game. Now, there has been, like I say, updates for this game since launch. The last one was the Trick or Yeet update called basically the Trick or Yeet update introduces PvP action as well. So this adds 9 new maps and 3 different game modes. So it adds a deathmatch, sports ball, and capture the chicken mode. So literally it adds a whole host of new content. Not only have you got the PvE side, you've also got the PvP element to it as well. And it's great. I really love it. Modern Wolf have done a load of games that I've covered on this channel before. Out There, Oceans of Time, Cantata as well. They're really good. Mecha Jammer. They do a lot of PC games. I'd love to see these come to like consoles as well in the future. But if you're wanting a fun little game at a decent price, I definitely recommend checking this one out. It's priced at $10.99, has full controller support and Steam achievements. And it can also use remote play together as well, which is a nice touch, especially since it is a co-op or competitive multiplayer focused game. But that's that for this video. Thank you to everyone who's been supporting our channel over the last couple of years, helping us grow. We're at numbers we never thought we'd get. Who'd have thought we'd be at our 800th review video? I've already got a pile of reviews done now. After this, I've just been waiting to upload them, so this could be the 800th uploaded video. We also do written reviews on the website www.xpnnetwork.com, and those are separate reviews that we don't do videos of. So if there's a written review, we haven't done a video of it. So there's loads of extra stuff there. And just thank you to everyone who checks out our content, especially the ones that like it and comment and stuff like that, and the ones that share it out on socials. You're helping us, and we're just doing it for fun and for you guys. So thank you very much. And a huge thank you to all the devs, publishers, PR companies, everyone like that who's been so kind enough to support us by sending us codes when they didn't have to. Like I say, we're only a small little outlet. They didn't have to send us codes, but it's always great when they do, and very appreciative of it. We do buy a lot of our codes as well for reviews, and we do buy a lot of codes for giveaways as well. So thank you, and we'll see you next time, guys. Bye for now.